Hey, welcome back to Watching's World. If you're new, I'm Megan Watching. This is my channel. I'm a family and consumer science teacher, so I'm sharing all of my best tips and tricks on cooking, food, home design, interior, life on your own stuff because I just bought a house and I am living life on my own. Today I'm making one of my staples in the kitchen, and this is my easy homemade granola. So the time is 6:18, and I like to go to bed kind of early because I get up pretty early because I teach high school, and I don't ever eat my breakfast at home. I just can't seem to make it out the door in time, feeling good about my outfit and have breakfast. Like, I have to get to school early and eat my breakfast there. I just can't make it happen. And yogurt and granola is such a staple in my life. Snack, breakfast, sometimes lunch, sometimes, like a weird dinner, but you know what? Like, having granola around is so important to me. I almost always have a batch of granola, and right now, this is it. This is it. This will hold about like 2 cups of granola in here, and I need to refill it. I just keep this in the fridge, and it lasts for such a long time. If I leave it in the pantry, it will not last quite as long. It'll start to go kind of stale because there are no preservatives in this. This is homemade granola. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients, but you don't even need all of these. So let's get started. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. Okay, so 6 ingredients, pretty simple. Hold on, let me back this up a little. There we go, I think that's better. I don't know, I'm pretty tall. There we go. Now I can stand up straight. Okay, so just a couple of things to get started. I have a bowl to mix your granola in. I've got a 1 cup measuring cup. I've got a spoon. This is about the size of a tablespoon. I've got unsalted, dry roasted sliced almonds from Trader Joe's. I've got maple syrup. Oats. These are old-fashioned ones. You could also use quick cooking oats too, but one of those two. Some kind of fat. This one is coconut oil. And then I also have cinnamon, and I have vanilla extract. The other really important thing is salt. So oats are grains, and just like pasta, when you cook pasta, I put salt in the water because it adds a lot of flavor. Same thing with rice, like any kind of grain, I add salt. Oats are exactly the same. So a pinch of salt will really make your oats very flavorful. You don't want them to be salty. I don't want like salty granola, but it will make my granola really delicious. So I'm gonna add all of that in there. I've already got my oven preheating to 350, and I have my tray with parchment paper on here because I hate having to clean anything up. So I'm just putting that to the side. And then I just have a ratio for granola. So I'm gonna start out today. I'm just gonna make a 1 cup batch of granola. Sometimes I double it if I just know that I'll have some like really busy time. So I'm just gonna add a cup of granola. You know what, maybe I'll just do like the 2 cups and just go for it because it's been a really busy school year. Not anybody else, but this year has just been so busy. All right, so that's 2 cups of granola. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of salt in my hands. That's too much. Oops. Not that much. This is way too much salt. Like, I just want like a pinch of salt. Not a lot. This is not like making pasta. And then I'll put it in a dish and use it later. Okay. Salt is not wasted. There it is. Okay, I'm going to now add in cinnamon and vanilla. I don't measure this. I like a lot of spice, so I'm just gonna really shake it in there. And I'm making 2 cups of oats. So like I need a decent amount of spice. This is what my bowl kind of looks like. Like there's a decent amount in there, and I'm just gonna kind of shake it like that. And then I'm gonna add in my pure vanilla extract. And again, I'm not measuring. I'll say like a tablespoon of each if I really have to quantify it. Okay, so that is like the super easy part out of the way. Oats, salt, cinnamon, and vanilla. Next is my coconut oil and my maple syrup. I have to finish up this jar, but I don't think this will be enough for how much granola I'm making. So The key here is to have the right ratio between sweetness and crunchiness, but like not too sweet and not too crunchy. I find that the ratio that I like when making granola, for every cup of oats that I use, I want equal amount of coconut oil and maple syrup. So my ratio that I found that I really like is 3 tablespoons of coconut oil and 3 tablespoons of maple syrup for every 1 cup of oats. That to me is perfect. Crunchy and sweet, but not too sweet, not too crunchy. And I want it to be a little healthy, not like terribly unhealthy. So I'm just gonna scoop my spoon in there, level it out like that, and then I just scrape it on the side of the bowl so that it is like, sorry, I'll show you. So it's just like that, because I don't want to keep like getting the oats stuck to the spoon to then keep dipping back in there. So I'm just gonna do 3 of them right here. And then the beautiful part of this is then like if you ever like are measuring it, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, how many did I do already? Guess what? 1, 2, 3. And since I have 2 cups of oats, I need 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. And I like to start with the coconut oil first too, because then the spoon, when it's like has all that fat on it, so it makes sure that my maple syrup doesn't stick to the spoon. It actually goes into the bowl, so it's perfect like that. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is my 6th one. And there's like a little bit left on my tablespoon, and that's totally fine. And I'm using this one because it's easy to stir, easy to clean, but this is approximately the size of a tablespoon, so that's perfect for me. So that's why I'm using a kitchen spoon. So I've got all of that right there, and then I'm going to start on measuring my maple syrup. I love maple syrup. I love that kind of like nutty flavor. You could use honey if you have that at home. This is not perfect, but pretty close. Yeah, that was 3, 4, almost made it. Let's see. I think we just about did it. Look at that. 6 exactly. All right. Recycle that. Maybe I could turn that into like a vase for some flowers or something. I don't know what I could put in there. If you have any ideas of how I could recycle and repurpose this, let me know. I don't know if it's even worth it because it's like so sticky on the inside. Like, do I run it through my dishwasher? Like, I don't know. So now I'm just gonna scrape around the sides, and I'm gonna just like drop my coconut oil into the center of my oats, just like that. And it's got my maple syrup in there. Maple syrup has so many good like vitamins too, because of like all the dark amber micronutrients from the trees. I just love it too. I love the way it tastes. And I'm just gonna mix it around. I want to get it as well incorporated as possible. I don't want like too many big chunks of coconut oil, because like the coconut oil is what's going to crisp it up. It's like gonna, you know, make it crunchy a little bit. And so I want that to be evenly distributed, so I don't have like a big glob of super crunchy granola and not crunchy granola. So I'm just gonna mix it up as best I can, get all that incorporated, and it's pretty easy because the coconut oil is very warm because the heat's on now, but sometimes when it's colder in here, like you really have to like mix it in. All right, so that's ready. And now I'm just going to add in some mix-ins. So I'm gonna do sliced almonds for a little bit of extra protein, and this will go in on the baking tray in the oven. I also really like dried cranberries. That's my favorite, but I don't put those on until after it comes out of the oven. It gets weird when you put them into the oven. Hold on, I usually wipe my hands. I don't like when my hands are like, I don't know. I get weird about like all the textural things. I just like don't, I don't know what it is. I just have gloves for everything. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix in, I'm gonna mix in about 1/4 cup of slivered almonds, just like that. And then give it a mix. And honestly, that's it. Like, that took me maybe 5 minutes. So fast. I will have this in the oven. I'm going to put it on my baking tray with the parchment paper. So let me go ahead and bring that out. So that is right here. So I'm gonna try to get it into an even layer because I want it to bake evenly. and I want there to not be a lot of space. So this baking tray is bigger than the amount of granola that I have, which is fine. So I don't need to like really spread it out or anything like that. I'm just gonna try to scrape as much of those little extra, like little tiny little kernels. All right, that's pretty good. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it out evenly, keeping it on that parchment paper because, again, clean up, absolutely not. And just kind of free-form layer even as possible. I don't like care about holes or anything like that. I want to keep it kind of spaced together because it'll cook better that way. So I want it to look something like this. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the finished product of my granola before it goes to bake into the oven. And as you can see, it's like all one layer. There's not like a big mound. It's pretty, you know, similar in size, and it looks pretty tightly packed. So this is gonna go into the oven for about 15 minutes. I'm then going to give it a stir. I'll take it out of the oven, give it a little stir, put it back in for 5 minutes. I will then take it out of the oven and let it cool. Don't touch it, don't mess with it, just leave it alone to harden and become the delicious granola it's going to be. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. I just took my granola out of the oven and I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. Right now it kind of feels a little soggy to my touch. It's getting golden, and I don't want it to get like super, super dark, but it could definitely go in for a little bit more. The edges are kind of getting a little bit more crispy than the middle, and that's why I need to like break it up with my spoon, kind of mix things up. That way the edges don't get like super dark. So I'm just mixing it up just so another, you know, different granola gets a chance to bake and crisp. And now I'm just going to flatten it back out just like I had before. And then she's just gonna go back in the oven for another, like, I'd say 8 minutes. Yeah, we'll go with 8 minutes. I just wanna make sure I keep an eye on it because you always have to take granola out before you think it's done. Anything that's in the oven that's, you know, comes out of the oven, it's not like, oh, I'm done cooking. It like will keep cooking. So you definitely want to take it out before you think it's ready, and it will still finish cooking and it won't be overly brown. So here we go, another 8 minutes. So this is 8 minutes later. It looks a little bit darker on camera, but this is a little bit lighter than it actually looks. This is the perfect color that I'm looking for with my granola. A little darker around the edges, a little lighter right here. It is a beautiful golden brown. It will get a little bit darker as it cools down, and I'm just not going to touch it. If you want those like granola chunks that kind of clump together, you have to let it settle and you have to let it wait. So I'm going to leave this to cool down a little bit. In probably like 10 minutes, I'm going to add in my cranberries, and then by then it should be cooled down and ready to package up to eat for breakfast tomorrow. All right, so my granola is out of the oven. It's been cooling for like 15, 20 minutes. And now I'm going to add in my craisins, or dried cranberries. I'm clearly not very good with the oven mitts, but I want to bring my granola over here. And I don't know if it's hot, and I don't want to burn my hands, so hold on. Okay, so here's my granola, just like that. I haven't touched it. It is just like it came out of the oven with. There she is. And I'm going to take off my oven mitts now. Hold on. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. All right, so really at this point, I can just mix in whatever I have on hand. So if you've got like, I don't know, dried blueberries, like whatever you have. Sometimes I put like shredded granola in, but like this, like you have to have these ocean spray cranberries. Like you gotta have cranberries, a little bit of tart and sweet. I don't know, maybe like quarter cup-ish. Some of these mix-ins, I just, you know, I just add till I think it looks good. I got really scared because I couldn't find them. Oh, well, we're going to do the rest of the bag. Because there's like 2 more in there, so it doesn't really matter. All right. Yeah, I would say that's about like a quarter cup. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a third of a cup. Okay. So now I'm going to take a big spoon. That's not big. Nope. Wait. A big spoon. And I am going to mix around my craisins. And I'm going to just break up my granola. Just like this. So I have some big pieces, some little pieces. It smells so good. And it looks so beautiful, and it looks so golden, and it's so crunchy. And I have a really hard time making this granola and then not eating it like immediately. Like the second it comes out of the oven, like I just like, you know, you just like sample it because you're like, okay, like I'll just like sample a piece, and then all of a sudden you're like, where's half of my granola? And now I'm just going to spoon it into my mason jar because I'm a millennial. Like, what else would I put it in? Tupperware? I don't think so. So I'm just gonna spoon it in here. Also, you can also, sometimes I do this too, but I don't feel like making a mess of my kitchen and dropping all of this on the floor. I just pick up my parchment paper, like a funnel, like this, and then you just kind of tip it into your jar. That's really a 2-person job. And like I said, I don't need all my homemade granola to go on the floor. So if you're feeling adventurous, go for it. If you only made like a small batch of granola, I would do this. But this is like 2 cups worth of oats and like other things. And yeah, just not risking it today. Maybe towards the end when there's like a lot of like little pieces, but not right now. And cleanup is so easy. I'll just throw the tray in the dishwasher, give it a little scrub. It's perfect. The parchment paper really saves you. If you don't have parchment paper, like it would totally be fine. But I hate doing dishes, if I'm honest with you. And so I don't want to do them. Also, sometimes like you don't always line your sheet trays. Like sometimes they get kind of stained from like all the food that you've cooked over time, and I don't know, it just doesn't like look as nice or as clean, and it's just better. All right, so now that I'm getting towards the end of my granola, I'm gonna pick it up and funnel it, but only because I'm at the end of this. So I'm just gonna pick the sheet up. Oh, I lost a little piece. I'll eat it. Okay. All right, I'll shake it. All right. I'll put my jar on the tray. That way, if I do miss, I didn't create a huge mess on the counter. Oh, that scared me. Okay, done. And look, that's the other reason I like using this, is because I know that this fits exactly 2 cups of oats and almonds and dried cranberries. And look at how pretty it is. It's so pretty. It's so tasty. Sweet, but not too sweet. Crunchy and delicious. Oh my gosh, I love it. I could just eat the whole jar over and over and over again. It's so good for acai bowls. It's great on its own with like milk or almond milk. It's great in granola for parfaits. Like, it's so delicious and versatile. I eat it for every single meal. So try it and tag me below. Let me know what kind of different add-ins that you put in. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next cooking video. Bye.